It's been super good, or at least we think so. As you might have had to watch the last game on another stream where 4CL did win out the second match versus Alliance and won then for 2-0 in our first series. And of course, we should apologize. We weren't able to broadcast the match from the studio here. Apparently, I shouldn't drink 12 cans of Monster Energy, go mental, and rip up the production room. I mean, they should have warning labels, really, wouldn't they? I mean,
we planted more internet trees. We're good now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so hopefully we're back on track and we will be able to move into the next two series and we'll hopefully get those games broadcasted. But there are actually various other coverage partners for the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. So hopefully, if you were aware, I think some of us were tweeting. Andy definitely tweeted.
Definitely didn't.
And you could watch ASUS ROG DreamLeague. You could watch it in Spanish.
Yeah.
You could watch it in Russian.
Learn languages while you watch it.
I mean, we probably did you a favor just by...
Do they have closed captioning?
No.
Don't think so.
They should. That'd be next level.
Shane does a lot of his commentary in Irish.
I do, yeah.
They're developing that technology, though, like the real-time translation for like television and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I read about that.
That's really cool.
Microsoft, it's really cool. Yeah.
How did he do that? Time travel?
Science. Nanobot, Shane. Internet trees.
Magnets.
You see the robots in the commercials? It's those guys.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Sorry, we got off on a little bit of a tangent.
Well, it's all right. I don't blame you. Actually, we had a really nice conversation and talked, just chilled out with each other in the break.
Should have been. Should have watched.
Nice. Could have been a show within itself.
It actually took us getting out of the house to talk to each other.
That's sadly true.
Yeah.
It is sadly true because we can't play games here.
That's also true.
Yeah, that's true.
We can watch games though, and that's what we'll be doing in just a moment because our next match coming up is going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Team Empire. We should probably go through and maybe even check again if we can, you know, outside of the team intros, but maybe go back to the standings if possible, just to see actually where the teams are, just to kind of recap since we've been on a little break and you might not know what you're watching. So.
I certainly don't know what's happening.
No idea.
I blacked out.
Come on,
Who
Johnny.
knows? So Johnny's currently on overlays.
Yeah.
There you go, Johnny.
Yeah, suspenseful overlays.
Oh, they're even updated.
I think everyone in production was holding their breath until the standings actually
We
came
can
up. So
see
Empire.
4CL 2-0.
4CL won 2-0 over Alliance. That's already been updated, it seems like, because Alliance only lost 3 games previous.
Yeah.
So 4CL have now jumped up to 4th. And then we're going to be moving on into NiP versus Empire next. So we've got 4A Empire versus NiP, which are 2-2. So really important to Empire, NiP, as Andy mentioned, not to drop games versus a team that is likely to be at the lower end of the standings by the end of the season for the ASUS DreamLeague Season 4. And then after that, we're going to see NiP versus Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, so we'll have a good idea at the end of the day, no matter what, of how NiP are going to be looking in the standings because we'll be playing 4 games back-to-back.
Yep.
As you already mentioned, definitely don't want to lose right now against Empire. If you do, you're putting yourself in a position where you play against one of the top teams right now, like Alliance. Even 4CL with a strong showing today against Alliance, you lose a series against one of them and you happen to drop a game against Empire, you could be seeing yourself in the bottom 4.
And tell me a little bit about NiP, because in the break when we were talking, you guys were like, NiP have been taking games pretty lengthy in terms of when they get to finish, and then Shane was like, I think it was Shane or Andy, I can't remember.
It was Shane.
Yeah,
it was Shane.
They kind of played rude.
Said no, they've been playing.
It's rude to Shane.
Why is that rude? That's what I said.
No, I'm saying you didn't hear him.
Stop fighting. Answer the question.
All right.
I honestly like the way NiP play a lot. I think Jonas found on the offline, they actually don't, he gets no farm. He plays heroes like Clockwork.
Sounds great.
No, he really enjoys it.
There's no farm.
No, he just gets levels, right? When he plays Clockwork, these kind of heroes that don't really need farm. And then when he gets level 6, he makes such a huge impact that they kind of group up and push. They pick these heroes like Gyrocopter, Puck, so they get the kind of gank with either Clockwork or the Puck, and then they just push towers off it. And
they're actually playing just very map-orientated.
That's kind of the way they've always played, though. I think this patch actually suits them quite a lot. And I think they're one of the few teams that, they've kind of got very unlucky recently. Like they
missed out on the
majors. Yeah, and that was pretty sad for me because they stuck together after going to TI, after not going to TI.
Yeah,
and then
they announced literally as soon as they were out. Yeah, they were like, we're sticking together.
Yeah. And then they just, I don't know, but fair play to them for.
I mean, because they beat Alliance in the major qualifiers.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Alliance and got knocked out.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right? Yeah. So that was unfortunate, but. what you said about the clockwork as well, just getting levels, I think, and no farm. I think that's why I said they kind of go long games, because they don't get the farm. Sure, they get the objectives early on, they get the levels, and then they push. But if they can't finish, that's when they kind of struggle, and it goes long. And then, as like some people might say in Dota 2, it's just like it can be a coin flip in the end. It's just like one very late game, and then it's just like poof. It's kind of random late game. So that's why I really want to see NiP like get that early levels and go like def push and take the early, but then seeing them able to finish the game as well. It's like what I want to see from NiP coming out now.
What about you, Andy? What do you want to see from NiP, or what can we expect from NiP coming into this series versus Empire?
I haven't seen too many of their games lately, so it's kind of hard for me to say. Like, these two probably actually know more than me about NiP right now, because I just
Holy
like
shit.
between all the work that we do, right? I just don't watch as much Dota as I used to. So I'm kind of, they're the question mark for me today.
Taking a step back, you're saying?
For
Career-wise?
now, I mean...
Retiring? Essentially.
Yes, 100%.
Brilliant. Follow me, Andy. It's fantastic over here in retirement corner.
No, but it's just like, I think that NiP as a team is pretty much what Scriff said, right? Like, the last time I watched them play, that's pretty much what they suffer from is, okay, can we end the game at a certain point? If we're supposed to end at 30 minutes, if we don't, we just either make bad decisions after that, and we get like these late game situations where we're either not favored, or one team fight can be the coin flip and then you lose. I mean, that can happen a lot to any team, but it seems to happen more to NiP than anyone else.
All right, and Era apparently has put on a lot of weight.
Camera adds 5 pounds.
Oh, okay,
10
yeah.
pounds.
He looks
10
great, man.
pounds.
This is an old photo as
20
well.
pounds.
That looks like a really old
I think it's
photo.
like 3 years old.
I think every photo of you is a kind of an old photo.
That's technically true.
He's not wrong.
I'm trying to think of a
Well
way.
played. Maybe it's a limp. Yeah, he favors puck still as well, right?
What about
I
if you
can't
take
remember
a
if they play
picture
puck still in this
of a
matchup.
mirror that's
I know
really
he
far
likes the
away?
hero a lot.
Yeah.
And
Wait, sorry, guys. Shane's trying to
Yeah, go on, Shane, sorry.
infuse some...
yeah, right. So you take a picture of a mirror that's really far away and you look at it instantly. They light up.
You're talking
Time
about
travel and
Yeah.
the speed of light.
yeah,
Yeah, you have to
exactly.
look pretty quick.
That's not how it works.
I don't think that works, dude.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
when the picture comes in, it's just like light has traveled
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
camera, and you're
I
actually.
think that kind of sums
doesn't
up
work.
your Dota commentary career, Shane.
really does.
Really grasping for straws.
It's tough.
It's all right. You did your best.
I haven't seen a lot of these
Seal Kid, he
members
does
play.
not want to get clubbed.
Dude, 72% or 77% win rate on Rubik. That's
These are
insane.
old
Right.
stats.
Is
It's
it 6.84?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Ah, okay.
I believe
That makes
so. I believe so. Or did we update the stats for
I don't think so.
the
no.
guys, but not for the overall play? I'm not sure. Still looking good though. 7-4 on die.
What's strong about their composition as a team in terms of their players? What makes NiP strong? And does it come from support? Does it come from cause?
I
Does
think
it come
they-
from leadership? So everyone's working
I
towards
think
the
it
same
comes.
goal.
Everyone's on the same page with
Yeah,
this team.
exactly.
Leadership.
That's actually what I
Yeah.
think they do the best is at any given point in the game, they know what they're supposed to do. Sometimes it's just the execution that I think falls flat. Pretty similar to what Alliance did in game 1 against 4CL, the game we actually got the broadcast, right? They knew they had a good plan. It's like, all right, our plan's sick. We just push, we win the game. But you make a handful of mistakes and the enemy team is able to push you back and then your game plan no longer is functional. It's not a matter of like...
But it feels a little bit when you say that, it's kind of like reminiscent of Fnatic. They were always on the same page, but they had great fighting potential, and maybe Era's brought a little bit of that still to NiP, because as long as you're all doing the same thing, even if you do make those mistakes, as you said, you can fall behind. A lot of times you still have a chance. As long as you're still taking the fight, sure, you might have lost it, but it depends how you lose the fight.
Yeah.
What the enemy team are really getting after, winning that fight. And we saw, of course, versus Alliance, how crucial it was losing those fights and not getting what they needed to be to get done with the bristleback, going behind towers and how they fell off. But it depends, of course, on the lineup and what your opponent's going to get from it. But interesting to hear about NiP, and also, of course, their opponent is Team Empire. These guys, I don't see them currently in the lobby yet, so we'll have to see when the match is going to be starting. But we have a little bit of time to talk about Empire. Haven't heard much from them recently.
It just seems like something is off with Empire.
Yeah, they haven't found their stride, their game.
When we interviewed Resolution, he said basically what we're looking for is a leader.
Yeah.
We need a leader, and all the guys we had standing in, we need them to lead us. And it has to be a massive, massive task for No Fear to come into this team of four team members that are already kind of have their own thing going, and he has to try and lead them the way he wants to. Like that has to be. That's a very very.
And it's
difficult-
also like resolution switching to off lane
Yeah.
more than mid lane, right? And Yoku taking up the mid lane. So it's like a change
His
there
resolution
for-
was praised.
As
Yeah,
You know, just
exactly.
a few years ago,
He was super
He was
good.
like when he was going to TI 3, I believe it
Four,
was,
even.
or
Four.
people were just like, he is the best mid laner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people
The
are
most
expecting,
stable.
yeah, he was. People are expecting him to do big things. So to see him move onto the offlane as his new role, how's that worked out for him?
He's actually made a very nice transition, I would say. And even in respect to that, like Yoku has done a very good job of picking up the slack and just playing mid, like playing SF Queen very well.
TA even.
Yeah, TA even on top of that. I think that both of the players in the team have actually transitioned beautifully, much better than I think most other teams would have.
Okay, so they've transitioned well into their roles.
But they just
But it's just the leadership is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're looking
they
at.
can't
They're
finish a
playing
game.
different games of
Taking
Dota
map
in the same
control,
match.
holding map control, like kind of like do the strangle out tactic, you know, like you
Yeah.
take over the map and then just out farm and until you're like 20k ahead, get a Roche and then go for the finish, right?
Some
But
of the
we
drafts
saw
as
them
well.
against Alliance, right? When they held the base very beautifully.
Well, that's
and
the thing. When
did a
you don't
comeback from
have
that.
an in-game leader, this is what I was going to ask. When you don't have an in-game leader per se, and you're offensively doing stuff well, because an in-game leader most of the time, you know, should be like taking control, and you want to be one step ahead of your opponent and making them react. Let's say, for example, NiP are the team that are going to bring the fight, are going to bring the game plan, as we expect. You know, as you said, that they like to kind of execute. It almost makes Empire's decision making easier, because surely NiP is saying, this is what we're doing, and then Empire like, well, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
And Empire, if you look at their lineup, it's crazy. Like Silent's an absolute amazing player. I mean, he's been playing for so long. Resolution as well. I mean, these are two standout players that when they're both on their game in team fights, you win team fights that it feels like you shouldn't actually be able to win. So do you think that even though NiP on paper, with Empire's kind of slum, should potentially be winning, but since the decision making for Empire might end up being a little bit easier, would you give them a little bit more of a chance going into this game, despite the fact that in the standings they're not doing too great?
It depends on the draft, I feel. If what you're saying is NiP are going to remove the guesswork, pretty
Yeah.
much, and it's just like, okay, well, if we're going to be playing aggressive against Empire, then we know what we're in for, and we know that there's going to be a lot of fighting. I think Empire are amazing at team fighting.
But that's what I mean. Like
yeah,
that
they're
helps
very,
them out a lot more.
They're very, very good. So I think in that way, yeah, okay, that you could definitely have a shot. That's true. But there is always the opportunity that, like, No Fear in the past, he has picked heroes that I feel like as a team, Empire didn't really run that well. And maybe his vision is a little bit different for Empire than what the rest of the members of Empire actually have been playing for a very long time. So I think that's also part of the reason why, even though he's done, I'd say it's like 50-50, He gets a good draft, good Empire draft, and they can win a game. If they don't, I feel like they just kind of struggle to figure out what their heroes are meant for and like what kind of timing they need to hit. That's where they really have the issue. But if NiP's just coming to them, I'd say it's Empire that probably take it.
Shane, anything to add?
I did like when I watched NiP play in the qualifiers, they played like their team fighting was actually way better than I've seen before from them. Because that's the thing they struggled with before in the past. Like they had a good plan, good draft, that kind of stuff. But when it came to team fights, they weren't really on point. But in the qualifiers, they took these amazing team fights that I thought they shouldn't have won. Again, it was in the Alliance game as well, the first game they played against them. And I don't know, I think they can bring the fight to Empire pretty well.
Okay.
I think it'd be fairly even actually.
Well, we'll have to watch out for that when the game gets started. We already have some of the members of Team Empire in the lobby, and we've just got the first member of NiP joining. So we won't be too far away from the second match today starting for Super Saturday. But before we go back in and start over-analyzing the game as we wait for the players to start, we should also mention we are running a competition over on facebook.com/ROG Nordic. There we go. Just need to get our models ready. Basically, what you need to do is head over there and you need to enter the competition, which you think is which hero is the most valuable hero of the week. You guys are just stealing products now. I'm not even sure if
Can you
you're...
get the camera back on James?
Okay. So most valuable hero of the week. There's a lot of heroes in Dota. It's kind of confusing. You can win motherboard, SSD hard drive. Fantastic.
Why
Is
are
that
you moving
PCI
in circles? It
Express
doesn't do-
SSD hard drive.
Yeah, it's PCI Express.
Where does it move like this?
Huh?
what's the difference?
PCI Express is basically your video card slot for most PCs, right?
Yeah.
So you can ram it in. Most hard drives you have to like get a special case for an SSD, or they come with them and then you have to plug them in. This one's actually going to be much easier to install, which makes it quite nice in my opinion. So
There we go.
Bam.
Andy approved. And of course, to win, you have to predict the hero that Scriff will pick at the end of the day. Our guest of the week, which is Scriff.
I've been here for 1 day. Like,
You're doing great.
yeah, but you're
You
still
were in
every
production
weekend.
working every,
Yeah, okay,
you've
yeah,
watched
fair
every game.
yeah.
But don't give any people too many
I've watched
hints.
every game. Do I remember every game?
Yeah, I don't
I mean, you
know.
should.
Look into this man's eyes. What does he know? Where is he?
Does he know where he is?
What's my name? Help. Send help.
Yeah, so Scriff will be picking a hero at the end of today's show. If you've gone onto the Facebook page, facebook.com/ROG Nordic, predict the hero and get the right one, someone will get selected, and then you will win these awesome prizes provided by ASUS. Scriff, any kind of clues so far?
No clues.
No clues? Not even
I don't
like
want to
it's
give
a
anything
kind-
away. Come on, like,
Is it a support?
So secretive.
no.
That kind of gives a lot
Maybe.
away.
Well, that's a clue now. You just said it's not a support.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
I said no. Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Not mysterious at all. Like, no matter how hard you
I
try.
think the mysterious card is good.
No, but he's not
He
like
just
he
looks
is not
confused.
mysterious.
He
Yeah.
is mysterious. I
I'm
think.
trying to do little.
You know
yeah.
Leslie Nielsen from like Naked Gun. That's Scriff. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah,
That's Scriff.
Which one?
Leslie Nielsen.
No.
He
Didn't
doesn't know.
Naked Gun.
Passed
33 in the
away.
third.
Recently.
Did he?
Really?
I don't know.
Which one? Sorry, this the main role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
He's amazing.
Yeah,
Come
he
on.
Yeah, he's amazing, but he's like
2 years ago. I thought I read.
well, either way, it's still him.
I'm dead.
He's the reincarnation.
Oh, okay. I'm alive.
Probably related somehow.
Somehow.
Maybe he came to Europe and
Have you seen Chubby Rain?
probably, but I don't remember.
That's
What's
also
going
an
on with the
amazing
screen
movie.
behind us, by the way?
I don't know.
It's memes.
Lena looks pretty happy.
Let your memes be dreams.
I think they actually put the faces on actually perfectly for the heroes. Like, think about it, right?
Sniper's dance game.
Like, Storm is definitely an Ellie giggle,
Yeah,
Like 100%.
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
right? Lena is a so bad because it takes literally no skill at all to play.
Kappa
Earth
is
Spirit
actually-
is 100% Kappa. Like, there is no
Fuck that
question,
guy.
right? It's like, oh, you stun, magnetic grip, Kappa, or roll in,
Cap up.
magnetism on entire team, you lose team fight no matter what, Kappa. That's good.
Silencer.
Silencer, yeah.
Press R.
press
Look
R.
like that.
I'm a fan.
Right. I got a silencer set coming out, by the way. It's gonna be sick. You guys should buy it if it gets in the store.
That actually is
Self
pretty cool.
promotion.
Well played.
Yeah, thanks.
Is that the one Carl's work on?
Yeah, it's done.
Oh, really?
We're doing the splash screen.
Every time I
legit.
talk to him, he keep on saying like, "It'll be finished this weekend, I promise."
Yeah.
Like, I've been talking to him.
No
like,
one's worked as hard on a silencer set as Carl.
6 months later, he's like, "Next weekend, please."
Yeah, he.
I'm pretty sure you guys got into an argument about that the other day. I
What?
walked into the kitchen and you were like, "Oh, so you're gonna have it done like sometime this year?" And Carl was like,
no, no.
he was
As
getting-
like a joke, because Carl says like it will be done this weekend, and then he says the same thing next weekend, and then the next weekend, and the next weekend, right? And it's like, and it's an ongoing joke now. It's hilarious. You have to be there,
all right.
but it's legit.
Spend all your time
It's
in
got
your
a
room.
really big helmet. That's all I'm saying, because it's a too good silencer set. Not compensating for anything, but it's gonna blow your mind when it happens. Anyway, so we're just filling time and waiting for the game to get started. I think we've done a pretty good intro
Almost.
to the two teams with
Yeah.
Empire and NiP. I'm quite satisfied with the amount of work that we've done thus far. So we're just kind of
Sit here in silence now.
Looking
Just
to
wait.
like the left or the right the entire time is like my neck is.
Yeah.
Look at me, Andy.
Yeah.
Look into my eyes.
Apparently, Scriff the chat thinks you're cute.
Thank you.
He is pretty cute. in
That's
fairness.
about all he's got going for him though.
That's why I'm here.
But that's what you
I mean,
want,
look
you
at
know.
this.
If you're gonna date someone as pretty
at
as
this.
Scriff, it's just like you just want cute.
It's really the
don't
hair
talk
balance
too much.
though.
And then if people think he's mysterious.
He's definitely not mysterious.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's mysterious or suspicious.
Suspicious.
See, the thing is, though, in order to be suspicious, you have to actually know what's going on. When I look at him, I never think he has any idea what's happening.
That's why he just goes to default mysterious. Just works for everything.
I'm not going to joke though. It does work his mysteriousness, right? Because let's say that like, a girl visited Sweden, and I kind of like hung out with her, and I was doing all the talking just to like entertain her, and I was like, oh, you should come back and meet the guys, you know. And then she came back and she met the guys, and Scriff just kind of sat around, didn't really say much, and then she left, and she's like, I kind of like Scriff. I'm like, how? He didn't say anything because he sat there going, I'm mysterious. She was like, this is what I want in my life.
That doesn't work.
It worked. Well, it did work.
Yeah,
though.
but like this in the camera,
yeah.
looking mysterious. I can't do it. I'm not an actor.
Maybe a profile shot.
But I also told her,
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
look,
better. That's better.
yeah, I was like, look, Scriff's a gamer guy, right? So
Yeah.
basically, I was like, I tried to give her some advice. I was like, look, Scriff's a gamer guy, so sure you like him, but I promise you this, he ain't gonna text you, phone you, leave the house. He's gonna play a lot of Dota. You literally have to go up to gamer guys and be like, hi, I'm a female and I like you. You're coming with me.
I'm glad that's out there now, so people understand.
Yeah.
Like that little bit of information. good.
And so, yeah, good advice.
The thing is, we are oblivious as gamers to everything outside of gaming, pretty much. Sometimes I even forget to go to the bathroom. You know, it's like sometimes you're just like,
That's because you're old.
I'm just
You
like,
sound like you're an old people's home, Andy. You look
think
like
about
it as
right?
well.
You have to
Just
pee,
like-
right? But you're in the middle of the
I'm
game,
gonna buy you a pee bag for Christmas.
and you don't want to pause.
I'm
have
with
you not
Andy on
been
this one.
watching?
You hold it.
You hold it, right?
Yeah. And then you forget, and then you're in the next
forget.
game.
Right.
And then it's two. You're like one more game. It'll be fine. No,
Have
that
you
happens to
seen
you.
what's
Totally
going
have
on?
done that at least once.
In Dota 2, they pause and type VC these days.
VC.
Who's doing that in Dota 2
It
games?
happened in the Chinese
Actually, I
qualifiers.
hate that's a big pet peeve of mine. I hate it when people do that.
It happened
You'll
like,
pause like,
three
"Oh, I gotta
times
go
in
to
the Chinese
bathroom."
qualifiers.
Because you obviously didn't know that you were going to play a game, so you just don't go to the bathroom. And then you just like pause and then make the other team wait.
Step your shit up, pro players.
It's unbelievable, actually.
Literally.
Pro players.
Like they're all asking for like
Fuck it.
better conditions and more money. You can't even hold a piss for like 45 minutes? Really?
Weak.
Sorry,
You're
but
not
that actually
athletes.
makes me mad.
I'm sorry I brought this up.
They should do that like in
I don't
races.
know.
Like someone's running the marathon, they just do a timeout. Let's go to the toilet. Like.
We won't compete in any tournament for under $150,000, but if we gotta pee, some shit's gonna go down. That's actually
I
bullshit.
mean, we all need to pee, but we're just so professional right now. All right, I could
I
go.
actually
I
had to
could
pee
go.
since this morning.
Yeah.
I just forgot. All right, I'm done.
A
I
random-
think my
good
point is.
That's right.
Yeah, good point. Well made, Andy.
Thank you.
Thanks for attending. But yeah,
Can the game start? Come on.
yeah, potentially.
Who knows?
Soon. Still missing a player, I think.
Oh, yeah,
from
okay.
Empire.
Empire, yeah.
What's this? They're having a little chat.
probably
Can you
on
sum this
toilet.
up, Andy?
Never starting. Baby
a,
rage.
a lot of question marks happening there.
It's okay.
Bit
Blame
of
what
confusion.
I feel better
No,
now.
I can't blame us. He can't talk.
Well, sure you can. He can talk. We
Oh,
can
yeah.
see him.
He's probably
See?
typing.
He's flaming you right now.
Yeah, okay. I probably deserve it.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you enjoying Stockholm, Shane?
Yep, it's awesome. I don't get to live with you guys anymore, which is kind of sad because I miss living in the
You have
garage.
your own
with Scriff.
apartment, though.
But it's like lonely, and I live close to.
You have the nicest apartment, though.
It's pretty cool.
You have the nicest one by far. Lumi's is like you go in,
It's
and
a
it's
box.
just like a box, and then a little mini box is your kitchen, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a fake plant in his window. And all he has are Pizza Hut boxes everywhere, because that's all he eats.
I have like this massive room.
No, he
and
has
then,
the
like,
right
You
I'm
can't
not-
eat pizza. Hut.
How does he...
You can't eat bread. You don't
No,
eat gluten.
it's not for me. We're talking about Lumi's room.
Yeah, Lumi's
Oh,
room.
Lumi's room.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I wasn't listening.
Shane has the nice one, right?
Okay.
But Lumi's is just like... He says it's so nice. You know, I got like a supermarket right by my house.
Yeah.
He only goes to Pizza Hut or McDonald's. It's like, why you even mention the supermarket? You never go there.
Yeah,
You can see the
well.
boxes.
No, but he cooks rice, right?
He does.
We gave him a
and we'll see
rice
Lumi
cooker.
hopefully later as well when he comes back. And also speaking, who's back? Not Alliance, because just to give you an update, if you weren't aware, we're waiting for our next match, but actually 4CL ended up beating out Alliance 2-0. So if you've joined us a little bit late and wondering why you maybe missed the second game, unfortunately we weren't able to broadcast it, and but it was 4CL that won that 2-0. So Alliance, top of the table, did lose 2 games, and they're now 7-5 instead of where they started today with 7-3. So just needed to tell you that, because some people just don't pay attention.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
All right.
Here's the standings.
Standings.
And
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a
weren't
juicy.
even listening to me, let me go and show you again with numbers. As you can clearly see, Alliance, top of the table, lost 2 games, started
Actually-
at 7-3, now 7-5.
This
Vega are technically in the best spot.
Vega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vega are doing awesome lately.
I mean,
Yes.
They kick
4CL,
ass.
4CL is kind of in the same spot. They just need to win another 2-0, right?
True.
They're in the same spot.
This next game is actually incredibly important. Like if Empire lose even 1 game, it just makes teams like Monkey Freedom Fighters and No Logic Gaming, a bit more comfortable.
Hmm.
If they lose 1 game, they're actually like almost guaranteed bottom
yeah,
4.
that's what I mean.
Maybe even bottom 2 with like 9 losses. That means you lost well more than half your games.
Yeah.
You lost an additional series.
9 losses is nearly definitely bottom 2, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Back to us.
Oh, he joined.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a second. He's been in the lobby for
Oh,
2 or 3 minutes.
Was it scheduled to start at a certain time? I'm wondering if
6 minutes ago.
would
7
that
now.
7.
would that fly in Andy tournament zone if you were tournament director?
No, that's fine. I mean,
Like-
sometimes. Okay, so here's the thing, right?
As long as
Here's
they
the
were
thing.
using that 6 minutes for bathroom breaks.
Yeah, if you do it before the game starts, whatever, 5-minute delay, that's fine. But if you just break the flow of the game, right? You got to fill space. People are like, why are they paused? And then it's like, oh, you're back. Toilet.
All right.
Great.
I think that you should definitely be commissioner of Dota esports.
I agree.
I would vote for you, Andy. What would some of your policies be? Apart from the obvious, the first, which is no bathroom breaks. Any other policies?
I mean, is that so ridiculous?
No, that's fine. I mean, if you imagine you're a politician, right? And this is your campaign to be esport commissioner of Dota 2, and there's a camera on you right now. Give us free, or if you can, of your kind of campaign strategy.
Imagine like a podium.
Now
right
a
here.
message from Andy Styles.
Okay, so first off, we already went over the bathroom break thing, which is fine. But I will say that if players in this day and age don't have DDoS protection, it's fine worthy because it's been like 5 freaking years. Please get your shit together. I'm just saying, like, that's kind of important. Second thing is if you're coming to a tournament, then you should definitely always make sure that you have your own peripherals that function. Looking at you, Artur. I think you went through like 7 keyboards or something at one point,
Yeah.
probably, right? And then the last thing, there should be a last thing. Do I have 3
Mexicans.
things? What about them?
Oh, okay. No, don't worry about it then.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
You
I only
actually,
had
did, you
2.
actually did 3 things.
Yeah,
but
with the
you
peeing.
called the, Good. Yeah, excellent speech,
Yeah.
Andy, for commissioner.
Vote for Andy.
Well done. Vote for Andy.
Vote for Andy.
No
Who's he up
walls.
against?
Huh?
Who's he
Huh?
running against?
Nothing. Huh? Who, yeah, I don't know. Who would you who would you like to run against, Andy, for commissioner of Dota esports?
Would anyone even else want that position? Like, honestly?
I'm sure. But someone you'd want to beat in the polls.
Synderin.
Sindarin.
Good
Magnus
choice,
Sindarin.
actually.
But he ex-pro gamer. He's got a lot going
He's a
for
good
him.
public speaker, too.
But he's Danish.
He is Danish.
He is
So
Danish.
it's hard to understand.
And he sucks at pool.
He probably wouldn't agree with the
Did you
poll
actually beat him
either.
at pool?
I've beat him both every time we've played, pretty much.
He's really into pool.
Yeah, I know.
And you're just like, I used to play.
That's the part, right? That's really funny because he gets like really upset when he loses. He's like,
Andy.
oh, I should have won this.
All right, well, let's leave it there at that and see who's going to be upset after the end of the first game because we're going into the draft for our match between Empire and Ninjas in Pyjamas. So here we are. We've already got our first bands out. It's going to be Queen of Pain versus Wisp. This draft couldn't have come sooner. Thank you very much, players, for readying up. And I'm sure they won't be pausing anytime soon. What are we expecting to see after the first bands? And don't say picks, because that's a douche thing to say.
Well, I mean, that's the obvious thing, right?
Thank you.
Dire team.
All right,
pick.
so I don't know how highly Ninjas and Pyjamas favor Ember.
Or Brood.
Pretty high.
Pretty high,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
I
they-
think Ember
they
might be
pick
on the
it quite
table
a
for
lot.
them here. I know Empire don't pick Ember nearly as much. Definitely not a silent hero, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if NiP has some Ember in mind for this game.
You saying first pick Embers, bro?
I think it's more likely to just be like support, like a support hero, and then I think Ember is actually first to pick worthy.
Dark Series good.
Darkseid's amazing.
Yeah,
Been
good lane pressure.
Kind of.
Open.
Do you think it's like takes away the Brood option for Empire with the Dark Series? Because he's quite good against Brood, right?
If you can get the matchup,
It's not that good.
Mm.
I'm more concerned about when you play Darkseer in the mid and late game, because when you end up with a certain composition of heroes, it just stops working in team fights when the Darkseer has, for example, the Blink or the
10
BKB,
seconds.
Yeah.
can definitely get off a good vacuum wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what heroes do you consider that you would play as
5
cores
seconds remaining.
against a Darkseer that you would be like, if it goes late game, we're not going to lose to a vacuum wall.
time.
We actually feel pretty good about this. Or is it just you don't want to get into that
I think
stage?
if you get a
ever?
BKB cores, and you can't get vacuumed,
Shadow Fiend is great, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can just actually BKB Requiem after
just
a
destroys all
wall, and
the
it destroys all the illusions.
pretty good.
True.
Yeah, we saw that in one of the games before.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
I think it's happened maybe once in the
In the
history of
history.
Dota.
No. But there was a game in particular that I can't remember like who was playing, but it was like BKB Requiem. All the images just died instantly.
Yeah, I
And the fight
remember
was
that.
It's
pretty
possible.
easy.
I don't
It's a
remember
feasible
who was
story,
playing.
Andy. We
Yeah,
believe
no,
you.
it was actually a really solid counter. But I think Darkseer is not often as much about the wombo combo as it is just like how much you get from the lane. Like it's very hard to stop this hero from getting something done, and he's also a natural mech carrier, which means you have a lot of flexibility with your other lanes too.
The thing is, whenever you have a Darkseer, I feel now, sure, the countering the lane's huge, but the Darkseer will normally always get to a point of just scariness. And even if it's later in the game, the wall being like, what, 45 seconds now?
Yeah.
Base defense, it helps massively. So you have to, it's always that factor. Come on, Darkseer has to be that factor of like, you're not playing around, you're not thinking about okay, if you don't think about the vacuum wall combo in potential team fights, you can pick a lineup that's focused on the laning phase that actually doesn't work very well versus a Darkseer. And I've seen games where when I've literally been like, okay, I've seen Sing Sing play actually as Darkseer, and I was just like, as soon as Sing Sing picks up his BKB after his blink, every team fight is over. And every team fight since he picked up his, got those items. Because of the composition, not just because of Darkseer, the composition he was playing against. They won every team fight as soon as that happened. And before it wasn't, an easy win. So yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just ranting, just trying to chip in, guys. All right.
Yeah, it's good.
Haven't been on camera for a long time. Give us a break.
I like
all right?
the Slaughter ban from NiP as well. Obviously, the minus armor stride with Dazzle Slaughter gets taken away. It's good. Winter Wyvern would have been really good for NiP, right? The vacuum into the frozen
that
or the
combination
curse.
is very powerful.
Yeah, it's overly bannable out. I've seen it in pub games.
I think the thing about
It's a nightmare.
Darkseer as well opens up a lot of melee cores as well, like Legion Commander, which I know Ninjas of Pyjamas like a lot. Even having Clockwork, like someone can just put the Ion Shell on and he can get right up and close to them. Like that's like huge in the
That's
mid-game.
a pretty old school like dual lane, right? The Darkseer Clockwork.
It's very old.
I mean, it was
Darkseer,
ran in
but
I
the
don't think
it was ran in the DreamLeague once, or was it the qualifiers?
I think
the
it's
major
less common
qualifiers.
because both of those heroes kind of want farm at the same time.
Yeah, but what they did was they sent the Darkseer in the beginning in the jungle, and then he got level 3 in the jungle,
And just
came
iron-
down to
I
with
just
Clockwork, and Clockwork was like level 2, 3 as well. And then they just took over the lane with
Yeah,
like Iron
Surgeon
Shell,
and
and
shit, yeah.
if they got someone in the cogs, he was dead. Like,
When you have a Darkseer and Shadow Fiend on the same team as well, it kind of allows Shadow Fiend to go like more late game items faster, like maybe even an earlier BKB, because he doesn't have to
get the mech.
Oh, he
doesn't
have to get
Darkseer,
mech, right.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have to get the
10
mechanism, yeah.
seconds
So
remaining.
it also makes your other lanes a bit easier as well. You can maybe pick someone who
5
doesn't have to be
seconds
like
remaining.
super late game in your core position.
I think these are absolutely fantastic heroes versus the Darkseer, by the way, and the Shadow Fiend that they've picked up for Team Empire. Dazzle is just really, really strong because you shouldn't ever catch a Dazzle out of position. And as I've mentioned before, Dazzle, I'm not sure, I'm sure Nahaz, someone like that would have stats who ever comes prepared for a show, but not like me. It's probably been doing fantastically in competitive Dota. And then Gyrocopter just being able to clean up the illusions. You always get a BKB,
10
which just means, okay, you can negate a lot of the damage and you can fight through it. And if you've got your life still, as you can see that Helm of the Dominator, you're not that scared. So I think that core and that support, for me, really affects the Darkseer. The Witch Doctor is going to be picked up for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's nice. How do you guys, enjoy Witch Doctor these days? We saw it last game and it was great in the first match that we did get to cover, but
It's really good against Tusk, right? Like that's the main thing I feel. It's like you snowball in, you put a couple of heroes in there, a cast comes out, you can turn the fight very easily. I think that's always going to be a go-to. But I think this is more of a band-aid for another problem because for now, I think that Gyrocopter was picked from Team Empire as more of a takeaway from NiP to not give them like the Darkseer and then the Gyrocopter together. But I don't know if Gyrocopter is actually that great of a matchup because traditionally Shadow Fiend is seen as a counter to Gyro because you do so much single target physical damage and you're a natural mech carrier and they already even have one with a Darkseer too, so you actually have more freedom with your item build this game that I feel the SF can deal with Gyro quite easily. And because they also haven't picked their own safe laner, it also gives them the advantage in the fact that they've seen like almost the completion of an entire lane only with 3 picks into the draft, right?
Yeah.
So I think that actually gives NiP a slight edge unless they're feeling very comfortable with their mid matchup.
ooh, I like this.
This is
Yeah,
actually
it's
really
very
cool.
good.
The Ice Path Vacuum combo is really strong. And then potentially Shadow Fiend gets a blink and like blink in Requiem with that wombo combo as well.
What do you think of a hero like Slark for Ninjas and Pyjamas? Like remove the refraction charges.
Slark is really good. I also think
With the Iron
Clinks
Shell
is
and
very nice as well.
Links, yeah.
10 seconds.
Because there's no like
remaining.
Winter Wyvern. There is a Grave, but at some point in the game, if the Clinks gets ahead, I think he actually like massacres these heroes. Like,
I
he
think
can
you just
kill-
get BKB on Team Empire's heroes, which you will get, and you'll win. And as long as you stack Ancients for TA, or even the Gyro, I think BKBs will end up winning this game a lot more.
They are playing Radiant TA though. It's not as easy to stack Ancients yourself, right?
No, I would much rather play Radiant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Radiant's closer to stack.
But do you not think that's a factor to a BKB on TA and Gyro in this
No, it
situation?
definitely is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
always going to have item timings
10
where
seconds
those types of
remaining.
cores that can deal a lot of damage without not many damage items,
5
it's going to be
seconds
strong.
remaining.
Like there's no doubt about that. But I just feel like NiP had the ability to win the game in like 20 to 25 minutes with their heroes. Like Jakiro with Liquid Fire, great
Yeah,
for
that's
pushing.
true.
You have Shadow Fiend, Darkseer,
Yep.
strong lane.
And you have Witch Doctor healing as well to back you up.
So it's going to be similar to the first game of 4CL Alliance. Like,
But this is what you said about
Yeah.
Ninjas in Pyjamas. They like to fight and be kind of
they-
like push and win the game on the earlier stage. And we said
Like
Team
take
Empire,
control.
you know, but I feel that Empire probably, I mean, Dazzle's a good amount of
10
sustain.
seconds remaining.
TA and Gyro are going to be great, but not until they get their BKBs if it comes down to those
5
tier 2
seconds remaining.
fights. What hero would you recommend that they pick
I
up
think
to
they
help
need
them fight?
Centaur or Axe. Like some sort of strong,
That's- yeah.
strong
For Empire?
initiator. Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting way to approach it.
And
And
then you-
definitely, I would go with like Centaur. I'd be very happy with Centaur.
You can just run away from the Witch
What about,
Doctor
like,
ward.
the-
You can run away from all
Yeah.
of that.
What if they did a Bambo play and got like tiny offlane?
I don't think they play that
I mean, yeah, obviously.
What if they were just jerks and picked up Clinks?
for the offline.
Mm,
Spirit Breaker.
Spirit
Breaker
Breaker
is
similar
actually-
kind of
something
thing.
to break up the fight.
Yeah, that's
Dire
awesome.
team pick.
I like it. It screws with Shadow Fiend
It's-
middle as
I'm
well.
not too sure about Spirit Breaker because it feels like it has to make an impact on the laning phase, and it's very hard to make an impact against their support heroes and their cores, right? Jakiro has so much HP.
I still think Clinks is amazing.
Witch Doctor can still sustain. Darkseer doesn't drop and can also surge away. I think the Spirit Breaker pick is not that good of a pick at all.
I think
I'm
it's
just going to say it
more-
right now. I think I should be playing for Team Empire. I should be the new captain.
I just feel like it's a
5
pick that's
seconds
only meant to be disruptive during the laning phase.
But that's the thing. I don't think it can be that disruptive during the laning phase.
But even if it keeps the two supports in one spot, I think that's enough.
Well,
you know?
But the thing is, their supports don't need items.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about the 1v1 for SFTA, because TA wins that matchup, right? And then Gyrocopter gets farm, hits 6, starts teleporting to fight with a charge on top of that. The thing is, other than Snowball, they had no reliable way of starting a team fight, and I think that's kind of why they needed the Spirit Breaker. Like, maybe they can go back for something like Clockwork instead.
I think Centaur would have been a way better
Yeah,
pick.
Centaur was also really cool, but they needed a hard form of initiation outside of just Tusk, and I think that's why they went with SP.
I think someone like Slark or Legion Commander is very good for Ninjas and Pyjamas.
NiP have played LC in the past, right?
Yeah, they really like it. But they usually play it on Jonas. And
Well, you've got to worry about armor as well on your team a little bit. You've got to have a mech. You don't
Sven
have
could work.
You don't have a great Vlad carrier in terms of until really late game.
I think they want a ranged hero. Okay, they're going to
Yeah.
go Sven.
Shane, you're on it.
Yeah.
It's like I was leading you, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like a duo.
We're good.
You know, I said armor, you say Sven.
I mean, Sven makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
like Flag Cannon, more armor against Dazzle, Weave, and Templar Assassin meld. The Warcry is gonna do massive work, right?
I think he's just going to get kited. I
Yeah,
think that's the problem.
that's
You have
the
the
risk,
Surge. That's why it's good.
Sure, yeah, they have Surge.
get Blink,
They have
you're
the
fine.
vacuum into Stormbolt, right?
But even
together
through
with everything
BKB,
else.
they have a lot of lockdown. They have Sigil.
Yeah.
They have
Right.
TA, who Sven is not very good against.
So, quick predictions. You were all wrong last time, by the way.
Knew we were.
Chris said 1-1, but he was the closest.
Still wrong.
Yeah, still wrong.
First,
50%
it was
right.
first wrong.
50% right.
No, it doesn't work like that. You're
Yeah,
wrong.
sure. It's fine.
Go on, predictions.
Half
All right. I'm going to actually give NiP this one. I'm going to say they should be able to win.
I like NiP as well.
I think though, if Empire get a good lead, they will destroy them. They'll walk it off like TA can just eat them all alive.
It's not ifs or buts. What is it?
I'm gonna go with Empire just to disagree with them and make a bit of tension.
Wow. This is good
0,
here.
1-1? Or do we just predict
No,
this
this is
game?
just this game.
Just
Would
this
you
game?
like to kind of smack talk them maybe and say why and they're wrong?
You gotta. Okay, I'll switch. I'll go Empire. You can go NiP because that way, because you wanted the Sven pick, right?
You know, guys
Yeah.
are not taking predictions seriously here.
No, it's
okay,
good
you
now
can't just
because
switch.
Now we can actually.
Okay, go.
Yeah, the trash talk is like that's Sven. He's gonna get kited. It's a terrible pick.
Dude, I'm gonna surge your Sven. He's gonna have an iron shell and he's gonna run at your TA. He's gonna destroy it.
0%. You're gonna go hit a TA with refraction on?
He's gonna have the iron shell. It's gonna disappear instantly.
He's gonna get wrecked.
BKB.
All right, worst acting
Yeah, but
ever. Let's go
BKB
into the game.
wasn't even acting.
Game 1. I know. Empire versus Ninjas in Pyjamas. I remember what I do here.